Namshar versus Neeb. And in the bottom left of this peculiar map, we have the blue Zerg for Psystorm Gaming. It is Namshar.
And spawning over in the bottom right-hand side as the red Protoss playing for Team Ting, it is Neeb.
All right. So Blackburn, it is a little U-shaped map here, and it has a couple of peculiarities even beyond the U-shape. So we got slow zones, you know, in the mains, as well as slow zones in the middle. And the way that this map is just its architecture goes, it really feels like it forces collisions of main armies more than it has a ton of skirmishes every which way. That middle part of the map can be really deadly to actually go through. It's a map that I feel very uncomfortable playing on, but I really enjoy watching other people try to figure it out.
A bit Golden Wall-esque, huh?
Indeed, yes. That was my exact feeling for Golden Wall.
I mean, it is very similar in a lot of ways. Like, there's certain portions of the map that you can't really go to, and you spawn in the bottom left, bottom right. You expand up and away from your opponent, which, you know, very often in StarCraft 2, it's like the more you expand, the closer to your opponent it should get, meaning it's more vulnerable. But on a map like this or a map like Golden Wall, very often you're getting further away, so it's your main that's more exposed. But it's weird. It's weird. It's definitely an unfamiliar feeling in StarCraft 2 to have.
One of those maps that's came in new recently, and then because it is a bit different, it's going to take a while for people to warm up to it. But just like with Golden Wall, I expect it to actually provide some of the most fun maps. I don't think it'll be as fun as Golden Wall, actually. Golden Wall ended up being such a more complex map than I think a lot of people give it credit for in the beginning. And while it still, for me, was more annoying to play, I loved watching it. Blackburn's not quite there yet, but we got to talk about these two players now, I guess, as opposed to the map. Namshar versus Neeb. I already brought it up. Namshar has not won a series versus Neeb yet in their entire careers. And I think it's really hard to actually... I think it's hard to say that Namshar... Oh boy, it's going to sound really mean. I don't know if he ever will. If Neeb continues playing at a solid level, Namshar... He was on his way up, right? And then I think it was a slow grind, a skill level. You know, it was like slowly he was on the up and up. And when he finally got to a point where I think he could be taking down some of these great Protosses, like him in his rivalry with Showtime, right? That's when he moved. And I feel like he's kind of, you know, plateaued a little bit here in North America. So he doesn't typically punch above his weight, you know? He's not a really wacky Zerg player. So I don't know if I want to root for Namshar. He's such a good guy. Such a fun guy to hang out with as well, but I don't know if it's ever going to happen.
I love me and Zombie Grove. I'm just going to say it. Because, yeah, I mean, like, you probably echo a lot of people's same thoughts. But, yeah, Namshar, like, he is, and he has been very decent. I know that I don't want to call him a meme, because he's not a meme at all. Like, he was like 6.7-ish on a EU at some point in time, so he's been super damn solid. He's got a few traits that, as I'm about to say this, that he didn't really scout that much. Like, a lot of the EU Zergs were like, yeah, Namshar, he'll like make 4 lings, got 66 drones, and that's his ZVZ style. You either kill him or he kills you because he's so greedy. But here he gets a scout off, so he gets to see kind of what he's up against. At least he's the Twilight. And Neeb, he's up to his old tricks with the Gateway, Adept, shenanigans with the glaives, and he's one of the best at this.
A while since I've seen the direct version, you know, like as a building, as your build, but it is something awfully spicy. 4 gateways, lots of adepts. Sometimes the first wave doesn't seem like it's that bad, and the second wave suddenly gets crazy, and then suddenly the adepts are split in every which way. And I'm not sure that Namshar has really got a solid enough defense. You only have lings. The spine crawler at the front is not going to help when the adepts are all in the main. And Namshar just really doesn't have anything to deal with this. I guess there's a spine crawl in the main too, but it's not even protecting the drone line.
I don't know what was a bigger beat. You saying maybe he'll never beat him, or this kind of game going on, but this is a decent surround with these Zerglings. But yeah, I mean, this isn't slowing down anytime soon, and this damage, it's going to start getting out of control very, very quickly. There's adepts here, there's adepts there. There's no mining going on from Namshar at all, basically. And yeah, this is not what you wanted if you're Namshar 5 minutes into the game.
No, already knowing that this is going to be a tall ask to actually defeat Neeb, and then you start things off by pretty much dying to adepts, you know? Like, he is dead, unfortunately, because Namshar not only has lost so many drones, and he really wasn't at that great of a count, he has put so much of his minerals and larvae into links that have all been traded out with these adepts. And while Neeb might be low on the army, is sometimes what happens in these situations, he actually wasn't. He was still ahead in army, just warping in more adepts. So, kind of a quick and easy game one there. Neeb doing what he does best, you could say, for sure, but Namshar just not prepared.
I love player cams, and I don't think I've ever seen Neeb smile that big, actually, after a win. He just grinned his ass off, and that was great. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I mean, what a first game by Neeb. He just does what he does so damn well. And yeah, when I watch a game like that, I could be like, man, how does Namshar hold that off better? Because he kind of scouted it, not too late. Started making roaches and lings and whatever. You got a sort of decent surround, but yeah, you got to have those roaches earlier. I kind of want to check quickly when he started his roach warren, because normally he started at like 3:30, I believe. Oh, okay, his was at 3:51, so a bit too late, especially going up against that kind of build. But yeah, very nicely played by Neeb, honestly.
Yeah, since that was the dominant build for so long, we kind of got to a point where you could like blindly say how to defend against it, but it was always tricky because the execution of it was still something to be considered. But if you knew about it with enough notice, it was like, what, you stop at like 41 drones, something like that, exactly, and then build a decent amount of lings. The roaches follow up afterwards. And then I know there's some Zergs out there who would build a spine crawler, like a singular one at their third, but Namshar, yeah, he got a bit of a late roach warren. That sucks. It also was surprising to see him get 3 spine crawlers, I think, in total. 1 for each base, I guess, or 1 was out in front, rather. And then just nothing but lings, even when his roach warren was done. So I didn't see if maybe he didn't have the gas or he was supply blocked or something. But when you see nothing but lings against that many adepts, they must have one heck of a surround far away from reinforcement points to actually have a hope. Otherwise, just lings won't cut it.
Yeah, like some of the argument with lings is he needed something urgent and fast to get out, and it was like, you know, have the queens to hopefully tank, and then the lings can get the wraparounds. And but yeah, he was a goner, man. He was a goner. And the thing about that build that's really scary too is the Protoss really gets to dictate the pace a lot. Like if it's going well, it can keep on just throwing out tons of units. If it's not going well, they can kind of back off and, you know, retreat with what they can, if you will. Yeah, but Neeb, he is and always has been one of the best at that kind of build. Anyhow, spawning over in the bottom left-hand side, playing for team Sisong Gaming, it is Namshar.
And in the top right, as the red Protoss for Team Ting, he is Neeb.
That smiles on the go. I hope at some point there's a clip of that, because that is exactly how I feel, that every Protoss feels against me when some of their bullshit works, you know? Just a pure smile of joy, be it like a cannon rush happens and it's like, or a void ray, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, the smug grin on the other end of that screen.
Neeb likes when the game's easy, I guess. Yeah, you're right. He's not usually one to like break out in, you know, giggles or smiles even when he wins like a big championship, but there's something about getting a quick, clean win that, I don't know, it you know, the Protoss tickle their Protoss bone with it, and they just can't stop smiling. So Resident Enclave still counts, even though it's I guess an older build that you could argue was kind of figured out. It certainly fell off, but that was also, you know, thanks to the void ray buffs, and people were like, let's experiment with this. So it's still powerful, especially in the hands of Neeb, especially when someone is kind of, you need to get back into the groove, right? I think Namshar is kind of buckling in again for StarCraft and ZDP, and was not quite buckled in for a Resident Enclave's opener. Just direct to it.
No, certainly not. Certainly not. I didn't actually get the count on what pool timing this was. Like, it was obviously a pool first into a hatch, so he does get to get his hatch down at his natural. But I always look at these kind of builds and I'm like, there must be a reason that most Zergs open up a hatch first. And especially if they are getting blocked and they still go for it, that just shows how much better it is economically for them. That I already look at this game, I'm like, okay, Namshar's probably going to try and do something a little bit weird.
It's so, I mean, I want to agree. Especially if it is kind of like the signs are there in the game. But that is one thing that makes Namshar dependable, but not surprising. You know, he doesn't get those wins that make you go like, whoa, that was totally unexpected. He was doing it occasionally just by like sheer grind. He would just get a bit better and a bit better and a bit better. So I know he eventually took down Showtime after also being, you know, not able to take him down at all. But I don't know if he's quite there yet today. I would love for him to mix it up. I would love for him to do something in the mid game that's an all-in. But it's not even that Namshar is like bad with them. He just doesn't really prefer them. He likes to play these straight-up games and eventually get to a position where his macro feels dominant. I don't know if it's going to happen here.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm with you. I'm with you. Like Namshar, to me, whenever I've seen his CVP, it was always like, okay, Hydra, Lurker, you know, and it would just kind of stay there, and it would be about whether he wins or doesn't win. I remember watching him against Hearthstone a lot, and a lot of these players always kind of knew what he was up to. Neeb is, well, it looks like it's going to be a very, very similar, if not the exact same thing as the first game. And honestly, when it went as well as it did, and it brought so much joy to him as it did, yeah, I can't fault it. And that Roach Warren, it is 10 seconds earlier this game, so hopefully Namshar can hold it off a little bit better.
What's-her-face comes in and is like, does this bring you joy? He's like, yes, it's the only thing that brings me joy. I'm just going to keep on doing it. That is still concerning, because even though the Roach Warren's coming down a bit faster, Namshar, you know, kind of knows about it. He saw Twilight Council. It's all about execution afterwards. This wasn't a build that you could just 100% always deal with. We'd see Zerg players agree that this is the way and then still falter. So kind of waiting here, just hold our breath and see how the first wave of Adepts goes. Namshar is going right into Roaches, only with 7 Lings, so constraining the Adepts might be a problem, but he shouldn't have to trade out nearly as many units.
No, I mean, like, the Roach Warren was still 10 seconds late of what you normally get it at, but it's definitely better than what it normally would have been. But, you know, StarCraft 2 is really a game of, like, inches and not miles. And here we do see these Adepts already kind of getting decent-ish battles against what Namshar has. And this is a nice fight for the Roaches because they got the Concave on either side. But, yeah, I'm just really surprised that this is still dealing as much damage as it is.
The War Prism did go down, so that's something. The Adepts might not be able to make it out, and maybe Namshar can at least like threaten a counter, stop Neeb from getting a third base, right? As Neeb is still only really on Adepts as a good production, and then not even having the War Prism for threatening. You can't buy time. The Adepts get, you know, obviously worse if it's up against Roaches. I wouldn't mind if Namshar just like showed it just to stop the third Nexus if he could, but of course he doesn't have Roach speed. He wasn't really reinforcing. He was trying to recoup his losses on the drones. So now making a couple extra Roaches, yeah, any attempt to go across the map's not going to work.
No, like Roaches without speed and stuff, it's these Adepts with Glaives, as long as there's enough of them, they can actually kind of go toe-to-toe, weirdly enough. More Queens are being made by Namshar. I wouldn't be surprised by what he's doing here if he just goes all in, you know? Because, I mean, all I see is battle units being made from him. Is that because he's super worried? I'm not entirely sure what his game plan should be, never mind what he is going to go for.
I think he is going to go for an attack, and if Neeb doesn't recognize this and save his Adepts, if he trades them out for economy, then it could be a very classic scenario of trading out too much army for economy and then dying to the counterattack. But Neeb, I mean, he saw a large number of units, you know, Ravagers included. He's seeing no drones at the third base, so that should be enough signals to get prepared back at home, send his Adepts back at home once they've bought in as much time as they can, maybe start up an Immortal. Actually starting up Blink and chronoing that. I don't know. Can the Adepts actually buy that much time?
I think they can, and... Okay, what's the worst thing that can happen to Neeb right now? He's against a tier 1 Namshar, which I think he's scouted out as well. Like, it's going to be a lot of Roach, Ling, Ravager. It's slow Roaches. He keeps seeing this Ling count, which it's kind of getting scary, but I think he could just win with, like, a massive Gateway army, honestly. Like, these Lings aren't going to stand much of a chance against the Adepts, and the Blink Stalkers to finish everything off. Like, these are slow Roaches, Zombie Grub.
And that's a good point. As long as the Adept stayed alive, and I think Neeb was very conscious, I don't think he actually ever intended to shade them through. So he's brought them back. They're going to be that front line to take the shots, kill the Lings. And then, yeah, you know, we got to have something that actually kills the Roaches and Ravagers. Enough Stalkers would do it. We're not quite there yet. Shield batteries are only just now coming down. If Namshar pulled the trigger right here, right now, maybe the shield batteries wouldn't be done, but maybe that doesn't matter. Actually, Neeb goes hunting for some of the army, finds it, force fields come down, but now he's out in the open. Here come the Lings from Namshar, looking for that big surround, and they find it away from the shield batteries. Corrosive Biles hitting the middle as well, taking down the sentries, taking down the Adepts, and Namshar, his counterattack might have done it. Almost every unit falls in the front line, but all the production is still up for Neeb. He's about to have an Immortal. He does still have his shield batteries. Namshar got the fight of his life right there, but maybe it's not enough.
The fight of his life, and then the Queens come and join the fray. I still think Neeb has got this, but it is getting a lot closer than it should be. And those shield batteries are getting taken out. These Blink Stalkers still have a lot to work with, and also that shield battery overcharge, that is going to work wonders for Neeb. It's still up. The Immortal and the Adepts are fighting the Queens now, and there's still lots of Lings on this left side.
Well, the shield batteries are gone thanks to Corrosive Biles, but the Natural's still up. The third is still up and getting more shield batteries as we speak. Neeb just needs to buy a little bit more time to really consolidate his army. He's got 6 gateways. He can mostly use them as well. He also has a surplus of probes, which he absolutely is going to pull into this. They do help block, especially, I guess, the Ravagers, right? But more Lings are coming in, and that's actually what's a little bit deadly. The Stalker's forced to blink defensively back to a cannon. Looks like the Queens have finally been taken out, and I think the momentum has stalled. Namshar forced to reinforce with pure Ling to actually get across this map. Just won't quite be able to topple Neeb.
Yeah, I just hope that Neeb doesn't tap out. And no, he isn't going to, is he? And because it was one of those, like, Neeb, you're actually really far ahead right now, even though it feels kind of bad, and you might feel bad that you got surrounded when you didn't need to, but he is so far ahead this game, and he can just run, counterattack. He realizes that it's slow Roaches. He looks very calm and relaxed on his webcam as well. And Namshar, now he's going for plan B, which is, okay, I got some speedlings. I want to take up to Lair, but he's in a terrible spot here, Zombie Grub.
Yeah, there's not really anything that Zerg can do that comes back in this situation. Apparently run-bys. Apparently this particular spot on this map is just like, I don't even know. You got to put like an Archon there to stop Lings from coming in, but even a Ling run-by won't be enough. You know, whereas for Protosses, we would be like, oh, you know, went behind Dark Shrine. Terrans, maybe do like a massive Doom drop. What is the Zerg going to do in this situation? Not even having a lair.
I have no clue whatsoever. And that Ling single-handedly did almost as much as the whole attack did, I guess. But yeah, Namshar, just a sigh of relief. And of course, guys, I'm kidding. I know like 15 probes fell earlier. But yeah, 11 drones. Namshar, he's trying to double expand here. He's taking a page out of Astrea's book, and it's like, okay, what do I do? Do I play super ultra greedy and hope for the best? Or do I do another all-in? And this one, I think he has the better chance with this, but it's not good. It's not good. And Neeb, he knows that he's in a safe spot here. He knows he's ahead economically, and I think he's just going to wait till that +2 is finished and then just go and pretty much butcher Namshar.
Yeah, he's going to push out while it's finishing, probably chrono it on the way, and then hit with it, as well as his gateways finishing up. Very smart, though, of course, still not going to be throwing this game away. Hallucination first. Got to scout ahead, have your flashlight. And it's going to see not much. A handful of the Ravagers. I guess he saw the tail end of the Lings, so he at least tries to stop them. Even if they do get across the map, it's not that scary. More warpings happening. Force cancel on that 5th base. Namshar, what do you got? A handful of Roaches, down an upgrade, down 20 supply. There's no hope here, not even if the Lings come back.
I'm waiting to see if Neeb does a smile again. GG is called. This game, is there a smile? Is there a cheeky smile?
No.
Nah, this doesn't bring